Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. And today I'm here with the one and only Pete Bennett. How you doing, Pete?
Hi, Simone. Yeah, good morning to you. All good here, thank you.
Fantastic.
We're in London town.
In London town with a very fancy beard right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Now, Pete, we are going to talk about all things regarding online reputation. Because we can see that companies are getting tons of clients if they had a good reputation, or right now one single tweet or one single negative review can determine also a company to lose a significant amount of clients. So really important topic. But before we go into that, tell us a bit more about your background and what got you to this point.
Okay, we won't go back as far as when a mommy and daddy love each other very much, I presume.
A bit later.
Yeah. I graduated in computer science and maths back when the internet was in its infancy. Yes, I'm that old. And worked for Exxon, or ExxonMobil now as it's called, oil company for about a decade or so, and then left and been involved in many companies. I've done consulting. I've had companies, swimming pool company in Spain, I think was one of the more esoteric one. A Pilates and gyrotonic studio in London Bridge before anyone had even heard of Pilates. And I don't think anyone has still heard of gyrotonic. Both of those went bust for different reasons. And you learn a lot actually when things go wrong. In fact, you probably learn more when things go wrong than when things go right.
I can definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, and maybe we should do some podcasts or something about that, because there are some common themes actually to prevent things going wrong, which I guess you tend to learn the hard way.
We can do a part two. We can already see a part two already, and we haven't even started.
Yeah, swap some war stories. It reminds me of a Heineken commercial actually, where you may have seen it. It's a young guy and an old guy, his granddad or something, sitting in the pub, and the young guy says to the old guy, "So, granddad, have you got any war stories?" And granddad just turns around and goes, "Nope," and drinks his pint. And then it's Heineken. How refreshing. So we wouldn't want to get boring with them. But I think there are, depending on your objectives, there are some things to learn about business, which I'm happy to share.
Yeah.
I had some successes as well. I think you and I met when I was the owner of London Translations, which is was a translation company which I sold back in 2016. I had a conference call company called Ozone Conferencing, which I sold maybe a couple of years before that. And I also still have one other conference call company called Buzz Conferencing, which is still running. In fact, I can see now money's just being sent automatically. Well, I like businesses where money happens automatically and where computers do the work. And of course, I now have Review You, which we'll talk about later on, which is the online reputation management stuff. But I guess I've had a fairly varied journey, which has got me to this point. And I think the thing when you start as an entrepreneur, you have big dreams about where you're going to go, but often you don't really know where you're going to go until you're halfway there. In other words, you've got to be prepared to move. And as I always say, and I know you asked me for a quote before this, I've always sort of lived by the motto that find out what people want and then sell it to them, rinse, repeat, buy a big house. So always look for the demand. And then talking about, we won't talk about marriage.
Let's keep the conversation when we meet for movies. for the next movie meetings.
Yeah, we could certainly do some podcasts on that. But so rather than look at what you're interested in, sort of find out what's in demand in the market and then provide it. One of the other things that I do is YouTube consultancy, and I helped one of my ex-employees actually at Ozone talk to him about demand and supply and internet marketing, and he left to set up a channel can I mention it? I probably better not mention it, but they were doing 1% of the whole of YouTube's traffic worldwide, and that's just by
Wow.
following the demand and supply mantra. Um, they've made more money now than you could reasonably spend in a lifetime, so it works.
I can imagine. I know that a few things, like a few questions here. Question number one is you mentioned that being an entrepreneur, you don't really realize where you're going up until you are halfway there. Was there a moment, or can you give an example of when this happened to you, where you started in one direction and then you changed because you were observing actually, or you were realizing the direction you were going?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, there's been a number of times when I've zigzagged. Usually when I zigzag, I like to sell the business that I'm in and then move on. And that's maybe another. It's a little bit of an obtuse answer, I know, but that's maybe another thing we should talk about is building a company that you can sell,
Mm-hmm.
which once the market starts to change or you get fed up with it, you can get out and you can change. Because I think some people build themselves into the business,
Yeah.
so that if the market changes, they can't go anywhere else because they are the business.
Yep.
And I know, I'm guessing a lot of your audience are sort of coaches and consultants and things. And there
Yep.
is that danger that once your face is on the website, you can't flog it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always made sure that my face isn't on the website so I can sell the company as a capital asset.
Mm-hmm.
So times where I've changed is when I've seen new market opportunities, and probably the origin story for Review You might serve as a good example of that.
Yep, go for it.
If I go back, London Translations, when I first started that, there was a huge demand for translation. Technology didn't do it, so we set up an agency to do it. Technology has moved on, so perhaps London Translations, ultimately would not be successful had I stayed in it. So sell it, move on. Conference calling, obviously now you and I are speaking for free, so you can argue that maybe the conference calling business is in a mature state and may eventually die out, in which case, I sold one conference call company. I've still got another small one. But Review You came about because I thought, okay, where's the world going? When people are buying stuff, what are they looking for in order to make that buying decision? And it's not a very sophisticated example, but it happens to be true. She wanted to have her nails done in a nail bar. And I know that just 300 yards up the road is on Jamaica Road. You may remember it's near our old offices. Mm-hmm. There is a very good nail bar that's run by a Vietnamese family, I believe. It's kind of known in the area as being quite a good nail bar, and lots of my friends have used it. So I said, well, why don't you go to that one? So she Googled it, and she found that it had got some bad reviews. I think 2 bad reviews, something like that, only 2 reviews, and they were both bad. So I said, well, no, honestly, it's a good one. A lot of my friends, obviously you don't say a lot of my girlfriends, but a lot of my friends have used it. So please, enjoy. But she wouldn't go because it had got bad reviews. Mm-hmm. So she got on the tube and she went up to London Bridge. There was another nail bar around there where she paid probably twice as much because it's much more expensive area. Yep. Just because that this company didn't have good reviews. And then I thought, yeah, hang on a minute, there's something in this. And I thought, well, how do I make decisions? I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. I always buy ones which have got good reviews.
Yep.
I mean, you asked me to get a headset for this conference. I hadn't got one. I thought I better get one for next time. So I was going on to Amazon, and there was some quite good headsets at good prices, no reviews. I'm not going to buy them. Mm-hmm. So I thought, yeah, reviews are becoming more and more important. And so I did a Google around, and I thought many of the companies that I used to deal with, such as lawyers and other professional services companies, they don't have very many reviews on their sites. I looked at all, because I was in the translation business, I wrote some software that pulled off all of the translation businesses in the UK. It took about 2 weeks to run, with their and also the report included their Google star rating and how many reviews they've got. Mm-hmm. honestly, Simone, some of them are just dreadful. I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking about, 1 or 2 star reputations. The last review was left like 3 years ago, in some cases 6 years ago. I thought there's no way that these people are ever going to get business nowadays. Because I know when I ran my translation company, we found it really difficult to differentiate ourselves from the competition. We were effectively selling a commodity.
It was just a price competition.
Yeah. Now, the translation business is a good example of this because, but it's not unique. If you're going to buy translation, by definition, you can't understand what you're buying. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to buy it.
Very good point.
If you were going to buy consultancy, you wouldn't understand necessarily the subject matter that the consultant was providing. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to buy it. And you can go down any vertical and make that. Generally, the customer doesn't know as much about what is buying than the expert.
Absolutely.
One would hope not. Anyway.
Yep.
So, in the absence of anything else, what do? Compare on price.
Yep.
Because you're seen, even though you're not. I mean, we're all very special people, aren't we? Some of us are precious, but we're all special, and we all have skills, and our skills are unique to us. But to the punter, we're just another listing on Google, and people will do price shopping. Now that's where the reviews come in, because as soon as you see people which have been in the game for a reasonable amount of time, they've got a reasonable amount of online reviews on there, and those are positive, then that sets you apart. I mean, let's just say there are 2 life coaches, and one of them's £40 an hour, one of them's £45 an hour, or £50 an hour. I don't know. You know the market much better than I do. How much is a life coach, by the way? How much will I pay for a life coach?
It depends. You can get anything from £30 an hour to £500 an hour. Okay. So it can be even £1,000 an hour, depending on actually the reputation.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say we're a 30 quid an hour life coach, and we want to be £100.
The majority is around the average of £75 to £100 an hour. That will be the average.
Okay. So let's say we're at the bottom end of that range, £75.
Yeah.
And we're competing with someone who is more expensive. Well, the more expensive one, as you said, will probably be able to command the prices, not because they're any better, but because they have a better online reputation. Who's that bloke, Bobbins or something? Who's Tony Robbins?
Tony Robbins, yes. Tony Robbins.
He's a life coach or something, isn't he?
Yes.
But, he's very well known, and he's got a huge reputation.
Yeah.
Therefore, people get their credit cards out and pretty much throw it at him because of his reputation. And you can think of online reputation and reviews as a way of encapsulating goodwill within, or goodwill towards your business, and people will pay for goodwill.
Absolutely, I can see that happening. In fact, one of the things that we look at, even when we increase our prices, or when we look at also the internal structure of GTeX, is how many case studies we can publish. In particular, for testimonials, we have testimonial pages, and we find that the more the testimonials and the more the case studies, the easier it is to get the clients, because it's trust. It's about trust. And when you have trust, you buy, and you buy with confidence. You don't have second thoughts. And that's why I think is really important. And before talking to you, something that we have never thought about was actually the reviews on Google, because we had our case studies on our testimonial page on the website, but we didn't have any review on Google. Never thought about that, or any review on the Facebook page in this case. And so there was a conversation with you that said, "Hey, you have none of this stuff," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't even knew that matter." And then you mentioned what you mentioned right now, and it absolutely made sense, because people are looking on Google, people are looking on the Facebook page, and they want to see also, before even they get to the website, what people are saying. And I think that also a testimonial page on the website, people can say, well, I mean, this can be fake.
Yeah, yeah.
While there is a trust on something which is at the public domain and someone that has their own user account
Uh-huh.
to put that comment out. So the question I have for you now regarding reviews is what now that we understood the importance of reviews, in which places do you believe that we need to have reviews right now, because that's where people go to make their buying decisions?
Okay, if you had to pick one place out of everywhere, then you would go for Google. And the reason for that is that I don't want to get too technical and geeky with this, but let's just say that if you get reviews, then you're going to get search engine optimization and visibility within the search results
Yep.
as a bonus, free of charge, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned YouTube earlier on. Well, because I'm a YouTube partner, I spend a lot of time up at the YouTube HQ, which is owned by Google, and of course you get to chat to some of the people in the organization's search engineers. Anecdotally, and I don't want to be held to this because they'll never tell you 100%, but you can say that about 20% of the weighting within the Google search engine for people that are searching on a local basis, so I know Life Coach Warwickshire or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
About 20% of the weighting comes from the number of reviews that they've got and the sentiment expressed within those reviews and the recency of those reviews. So in other words, if you wanted to raise your visibility in the search results, then you can either do a lot of expensive SEO,
Yep.
which is a black art, or you can concentrate on getting reviews. Now, the good thing about getting the reviews is that you get more search engine love, but also you're going to convert more, because a lot of people spend a lot of time, effort, and money trying to get people to their website, either paid advertising or organic stuff or however they do it, only to find that once they get to the website and people start checking them out in terms of reviews, they have no reviews or bad reviews, and then they lose that person.
Yep.
So the conversion is much better if you've got reviews. Google is a great place to put it. Also, Facebook. You can never have too many reviews, but Facebook is good. LinkedIn recommendations are good. Depending on what business you're in, TripAdvisor is a good place to be. Basically, it's where your audience would be checking you out. But if I had to pick one, I would pick Google because of the search engine benefit that comes kind of bundled.
And why do you think? And why do you think people or entrepreneurs, they don't like, for example, like myself? I didn't even have an answer for myself, but don't care about getting those reviews, because it should be like a priority. If you just apply some common sense, that's what actually something I was like, why haven't I done this before? It's literally common sense, like getting people to say nice thing and get published where it matters. So why don't people don't do it, in your opinion? Why entrepreneurs don't care about it?
I think the first reason is they probably don't know about it, or they don't realize how important they are. And Google, to be honest, doesn't make it that easy, because over the years they've changed their review platform and the way that they present the possibility of providing reviews to people. And it's a little bit like when Gmail came out. Gmail was very, very confusing. It took a while for that to take off. But now they have a thing called Google My Business, which part of that, and there's lots of it. And honestly, if you're a small business owner or an independent consultant, you should really go and have a look at what is available for free with Google My Business. It's amazing. You've effectively got a blog site that's already built for you. You've got even a website is already built for you within Google.
No way.
And it's not brilliant, but it's free. You can put videos up there. And this is talking directly into the search engine. So you're going right into the belly of the beast and providing Google what it wants in order to provide good search results to its users. And it's going to reward you in droves by doing that. But people don't know about it. Now, when I ran London Translations, I used to bonus my staff. I think it was £50 they used to get for every testimonial. Genuine testimonial they got from customers on letterheaded paper, and we used to put them on our website. At that time, obviously in 2016, there wasn't such a well-developed Google platform for getting reviews, or at least if there was, I didn't know about it,
Yeah.
and I'm a techie. So I think it's mainly people don't know, and therein opportunity lies. Because as I was talking about earlier on, businesses, reach a level of maturity, and the market reaches a level of maturity, in which case you could argue it's too late. Now is the time to be getting into getting reviews, because do this as an example. Do a search on Google of people in your niche, your competitors, and just have a look at how many of them don't have any reviews at all.
No, the majority don't have it. I'll
No.
tell you, they don't have them,
No.
because people. My assumption is that they are doing what I was doing, which is don't ask for them, or ask for the testimonial, but then didn't really find a way to stick it up in Google or the other platforms. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, Google. So I think there are probably three reasons why people don't do it. I think probably the first one is that business owners don't know about it or don't think they're important. The second one you've touched on, business owners don't ask, or they don't know how to ask. They have no system in place for asking. And customers don't think to leave a review, or they don't know how to.
Unless they want to say something bad.
Exactly. The only time they'll bother.
That's why probably in the nail salon that's what happened. It's like, okay, I had such a bad experience for once or twice that I'm going to be bothered now to leave a review, because I want all the world to know how bad that was. And if it was a great experience, it'll be okay. That's what I'm entitled to. So,
and probably if the nail bar had known that the customer was unhappy, they would have fixed it. It's just that they didn't have a mechanism for collecting that feedback. I do actually have some numbers around the percentage of people that will try different businesses. According to some research by a company called Bright Marketing, if you've got 4 or 5 stars, then 92% of prospects are likely to consider using you or give you a go. When it gets down to 2 stars, it's only 27%. 1 star, only 13%. So if that nail bar had got 1-star reviews, only 13% of the people that found them would actually bother to look at it any further.
Wow.
Which is a real shame, because they're nice guys. They deserve the business.
Yep.
But obviously, out of the hundreds of people that they serve, they maybe screwed a couple up and have lost it. So those numbers basically.
That's fascinating, and so we need to take care to make sure that we get good reviews. So how does Review You then fits into this paradigm? Because one of the things that I found by using the software is that it makes it way simpler. Like before, I didn't know even where to start or where to ask for a review and to get it done. So let's talk about how does Review You works, and also what I would love to talk about is what are we looking for when having a great review. Let's start with how the process works, and then we look at what makes a great review.
Okay, so remember the 3 reasons why we don't get reviews or we get bad reviews. So one, business owners don't know about it. Well, if you buy Review You, then you'll know about it. And if you listen to this podcast, you now know about it. So you're ahead of most people. Business owners don't know how to ask for reviews. So there is no process in their business where they ask for a review. So if you don't ask, you don't get. What Review You does is takes the asking process and automates it for you.
I like the word automation.
Yeah, me too. As I say, I really think that lots of jobs are better done by computers because they don't forget and they're not shy. A lot of people feel a bit shy asking for a review. But with Review You, what would happen in its simplest case? You can do lots of things with it, but let's keep it really simple. So, in your world, if you're a consultant, or I don't know, do you have people like massage therapists, or
Yeah,
people that
yeah. Do
feel.
you find like in the listeners for the show? They are entrepreneurs, expert that they run consulting companies, public speakers, people that they run clinics as well on like health and fitness. So you find all these kind of different service providers. So it's more like service provider rather
Okay.
than products, physical
Okay,
products.
so let's use the speaker then as a good example, because I actually spoke at a conference last week, and the organizer is using Review You. I better not mention him. I don't know. I don't know how these things work, but
You can mention it if you want to mention it. I don't care.
Peter Thompson up in the Midlands.
Yes.
So this is the way that he's using it. So he does his day workshop, or whatever the presentation is, he's speaking. And then when the delegates leave, he uploads a spreadsheet of all of the people that were in the room into Review You. And then the next morning, Review You automatically sends out an email to all of the people that were in the room. You can have it go via text, but he prefers to do it just via email, saying, how was the day? How was your experience with us? Of course, because everyone's had a good experience, they see the note from Peter, and they feel very warm towards him, because he's followed up and asked, how the day was. I mean, that's customer care in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a link in that email that they can click, which says takes them to a web page, and it says, give us a star rating, 1 to 5, and just tell us how things were, how things went. If the person gives a review of 4 stars or 5 stars, then the system recognizes that, takes them to another page and says, brilliant, please would you mind sharing your review on Google? It would really help us get more business. Cialdini is reciprocity, isn't it? Where we've given you a good day, would you mind doing something for me? Some people will bother to go and fill it on Google, some people won't, but at least you've asked.
Yes.
The clever bit is, if somebody puts in, let's be silly, a 1-star review and says, the day was really awful, the coffee was cold, the lunch sucked, etc., etc. When they hit the return, instead of being invited to go to Google, that email goes straight back to your customer services people, or yourself, depending if you're a one-man band. And the customer gets an email saying, we're really sorry for your concerns, we'll address them and get back to you promptly. So it's intercepted bad feedback. Well, first of all, it's asked for feedback, which most people don't bother doing. It's encouraged people to leave positive feedback on Google, and it's intercepted bad feedback. And critically, customers now are guided through the process of leaving feedback. Because remember what we said before, a lot of people won't leave feedback because it's not that easy, particularly on Google. It can be a bit fiddly. They won't leave feedback unless they've had a bad experience. Now we make it easy for them to leave positive feedback, and we attempt to intercept negative feedback before it goes public.
That's what I found. That's why I decided to get on board with Review You, because I saw the importance of having these testimonials, because we work with hundreds, we have thousands of people every year attending our courses, our seminars, our free events, and we never send like a reminder. We used to have physical feedback forms, but then we almost were doing nothing with them. We will not transcribe unless we will take maybe over the 50 or 100 attendees. We will take the top 3 testimonials and then put it on the website. But we were missing out on an event basis, like on a much larger chunk. Even now, in fact, the way we use it, just to give you some ideas, guys, is when we are running events, free events to get clients. So that's a way when we're running a free event or even a free webinar that we are running, we ask them, hey, how did you find the webinar? How did you find the event? Fill it up here. And then another way that we used it is also with our internal clients, where we do a specific training for our existing clients, for our GTeX members. And then we ask them, hey, how did you find the training? Do you want to give us some feedback? Do you want to review the training that we offer? And I found that actually the people that are the existing clients are more likely to then go to the next step and publish it on Google or publish it on Facebook. If they are a bit colder, I found that we get the best review, but then if also the existing client, they get the step farther because also they have more relationship with you. So there are different ways in which you can use the software to get internal reviews, external reviews, published on Google, published on Facebook, and at different levels of more new prospects and also existing clients to get the results that you want. And I loved the text messages feature actually. For I think that the biggest return that we had was from the text messages. That was the biggest, the largest number of people that took action. So that's a great feature in my opinion.
Yeah, text works for some people very well. It's very immediate. There's no spam filter in a text inbox, so you get that.
I love text messaging marketing. I love it. I use it all the time.
Something else which I think is very valuable and probably worth the sticker price in itself is the fact that it produces a sales page for you automatically. It's quite difficult to describe it without showing it to people. I know a lot of people will be just listening rather than watching. So just think of it as a sales page. It's a website that's or a web page which is online that the system automatically generates, and it's updated every night at midnight. And it has all of your company details in there, your intro, your sales pitch. But then below, it lists all of your positive reviews from Google, from Facebook, from all over the place. And I said positive reviews because we put a filter on it. So it only shows the ones that you want to be shown. So ones which are 3 stars or 4 stars. And, I think you've got several pages of it now. The more the better. Some of our clients have got like 10, 15, 20 pages of reviews. And if you can imagine, in a pitch saying, of course, I would say that I'm the best hypnotherapist.
But check here.
Yeah, but don't take my word for it. Here's what 500 of my previous clients have said.
Yes.
And then just forward that link in the email. I mean, you could print it out and send it to them as a PDF, but just stick it in the email and forward it, and it will be updated every night. And that's another thing with reviews. You need them to be fresh reviews. So it's really about the quantity of reviews that you've got, the quality of the reviews, so how many stars, and the frequency of the reviews. So, if you go and look that the person last had a review 3 years ago, then you wouldn't necessarily think, that they're very active. If you go and they've had 3 in the last week and they're all positive, then suddenly that makes it feel like they have their finger on the pulse, and you're far more likely to check it out, irrespective of the search engine love that you'll get, because the more reviews and the more frequent
the better it is. So I would love to move now talking about what makes a great review. So what are we looking for in a great review for an entrepreneur point of view, for a business point of view?
Yeah, I think you take into account the recency. So something which is fairly recent, something specific. So rather than yes, it was really good. Or
thanks.
I really like them. Something like I really enjoyed the bit when Simone spoke about mindset because I was finding it difficult to get motivated. Or if it was a dentist, I don't know, the receptionist was very kind and gave me plenty of time to recover after the anaesthetic, or something like that. So what you really want is for the review to reflect a concern or an objection that someone may have in their head. Mm-hmm. It's along the lines of, I thought when I went in that this was going to be unpleasant and expensive, but I came out having had a good time and it cost less than I thought. That kind of thing.
Yes.
But one of the key things with the reviews online that you get from Review You, or online reviews in general, is that they are written by the person who's actually been and experienced a service and who will write it in their own words. So we don't have a lot of control over what people write. What we have to do as business owners is concentrate on delivering a really good service, so that the parts of the service that resonate with people are the things that they will remember and put in reviews. I don't really want people to buy this if they're providing bad service.
Yeah,
I want to make good businesses better. Some people deserve 1-star reviews, and then, let them have them. But
yeah.
we're better.
They don't need the software to get them. People are gonna leave them anyway. So
Yeah, I rang one prospect up who'd got terrible reviews, and everything which was in their reviews, like they were rude, they didn't answer the phone, etc. That's what happened when I rang up. So good. I'm glad you've got 1 review, 1-star, because I wouldn't want anybody that I know using your service.
Yeah.
But you should have a look at some of the doctors' ones. Like, don't go to this doctor unless you feel like you want to die.
I'm sure that practice is gonna be packed. Now, Pete, I want to move in the last part of the interview, which is called lifting the veil, and that's where I'm going to ask you to share maybe a tool that has not been shared before, or something that you have discovered recently that you use to make your life or business better. It can be a book that you've read, an app that you're using, another system that you came across being a bit of a geek yourself. What's that for you?
Wow, that's an interesting question. There's so many of them. I mean, I say most of my stuff is automated. So I guess Infusionsoft would be the sort of daddy platform that all of my businesses have been built around Infusionsoft. But I'm guessing most of your people will have that anyway. One tool which I've found very useful recently is called Web Harvey. Web Harvey is a
Web Harvey.
Yeah, Web Harvey. Let me see. Let me make sure it's not spelt. That's just WEBHARVY. Now, what this does is allows you to automate things that you would do on the web. So what I'm using it for is to go through all of the businesses in the UK for a particular niche on Google and mine from the results, the number of reviews that they've got and all the details about their online presence. But if you're doing repetitive things, looking for prospects, maybe you want to go and download all of the names from a particular directory of coaches. Then if you can do it manually, then Web Harvey can automate it and do it, so that you don't have to do the same thing over and over again. Because repetitive tasks are not jobs for humans, in my opinion. The computer should be able to do that.
I completely agree with you on this one. So I'm just Web Harvey. We're gonna put the link in the show notes. It's a very interesting tool. I'm gonna check it out as well. Never heard about it. So Web Harvey.
Yeah, that's the one I've been using quite a lot recently. In terms of books, I mean, I read an awful lot. I think everybody in business should read Sun Tzu's Art of War. And there is I'll see if I'll go onto Amazon now. There is a particular commentary on that by a business.
A review. There is a review.
That's an interesting thing. It's kind of a review, but it's more of a thesis around it. Sun Tzu, Art of War for Executives. Art of War. It sounds like it's being Art of War sounds aggressive. It isn't necessarily aggressive. War war can be your objective. So you replace the word war with the art of growing more clients, or the art of being successful in business. But many of the principles that are applied to warfare are directly applicable to business. Things such as how to concentrate your resources, how not to try and fight battles on many fronts at the same time. How to bring your troops, which could be your staff, on side. Even with the reviewing stuff, really, I mean, what we're doing is building a free sort of army, if you like, of people that are enthusiastic about us as a general, if you want to put it in business terms. and therefore would support our mission to, in your case, build GTeX. In other people's cases, be the I don't know, the best hypnosis practitioner in Croydon, or whatever whatever they want to do. But the book is called Sun Tzu's Art of War for Executives, and it's Donald G. Krause.
Donald G. Krause. So we're gonna put the link.
Yeah.
We're gonna put the link in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
So then you guys can look at Webb Harvey and Sun Tzu, The Art of War for Executive. And get the book. Hopefully, is on Audible as well, or as an audiobook. Yeah. Fantastic, because I'm one of these kind of people that hate reading. I would just fall asleep after 3 pages, but I love listening. So
yes, get a book. You're a millennial.
That's it's my fault. It's been like this also at school. I didn't like reading at school, but that's another story. Now, Pete, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for this enlightening interview on reviews, because it's something that not many people talk about. It's something that not many people consider as a priority. But actually, it's one of the most important things that gets someone to say yes or no. So, working with you. So,
yeah.
That's very unique. Thank you very much. Now, if people want to get in touch with you, or if people want to get their hands on Review You and test it out, where can they go?
If you go to reviewU.com, and U is spelled YOO, so reviewU.com. Then all the details are on there. If you want to get in touch with me, are you going to put my contact details and things in the show?
Put your social media, all the links that you send me. So the links that you send me are going to be there in the show notes.
And if your tribe or your army from Sun Tzu would want to buy it, then I'll create a code GTeX, GTeX, and that'll give them 15% off any of the packages.
Brilliant. So 50% off code GTeX. Thank you very much. I recommend you guys to give it a go. In particular, if you're running events in this case, or you're already working with existing clients, then it will change. It will change the way people are going to perceive you online. We are already getting some great results with the software, so I can highly recommend it. And as you know, I don't recommend anything that I don't use it personally. I don't have any interest in that. And I'm not earning any affiliate commission.
Also,
affiliate disclaimer here is a cool software. I know Pete. I know he's always looking to make things better, and the Review You works. So
it certainly works. And just a point on that, it definitely works. There is no question, but it only works if people bother to put people's details in and use it. It's like the gym. The gym definitely works. If you go down there and you move heavy stuff around, you will get stronger. Same with reviews. Whether or not you use Review You, unless you ask for reviews, then you will not get them. You need to do that. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, frankly.
Yep, I completely agree with you. Thank you very much, Pete. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for the interview. Guys, get Review You. Get in touch with Pete as well. See what he does. And thank you very much for being here with us today. Thank you for listening, for watching. If you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on the show. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel or to our podcast, do it right now. I know you want it, so you don't miss any other incredible episode. So subscribe right now. And if you enjoyed the episode, if you enjoyed the value that we provide, give us a review. We're talking about reviews on iTunes. Go on the iTunes page. There is a link in the show notes. And let us know what you enjoyed the most about this episode. And we're going to take the best reviews and we are going to give you a shout out in the next episode. Woohoo! It's going to be your lucky day. Yes, we know that.
Okay, you're so enthusiastic about life. I need to get some of that. I'll have a bottle of whatever he's drinking.
Guys, you got to see our conversations when we meet for movie. We had a meeting watching. What did we watch? The Incredible 2?
Yeah,
I think we watched it. That was a fun night because we have some very different views of life. Let's put it this way. But they make up for a very good conversation. All right, Pete, thank you very much again. And guys, I'll see you next episode.
Pleasure.
Ciao.
See you soon. Cheers. Bye.